Hi, I'm Carol Allen, longtime Vedic astrologer and relationship coach. And I want to share with you today my favorite tips for dating for women so that they date without wanting to kill themselves. And listen, I know that's a dramatic title, and it may sound like I'm saying this for effect, but I tend to work with what are called highly sensitive people and predominantly highly sensitive women. And highly sensitive women, who I like to call soulfully sensitive women, tend to be very dramatic, and they tend to use dramatic language. And while this can make highly sensitive women have fantastic personalities and be really fun and really clever and really charming, it can also make them kind of torture themselves. So if this is you, if you tend to speak dramatically about your life or use strong language or use big, intense statements about things, especially about yourself or about your personal life, I'm here to tell you it might be contributing to you having a lot less fun in dating. And here's the good news. Dating can actually really be fun. And it should be, right? And actually, in the beginning of dating, the whole point is fun. The whole point is to figure out if you enjoy someone, if they're a good companion, if you feel comfortable, if they are more fun to be with than your cat. And really, no one's more fun to be with than your cat, right? But the hope is that you find someone that actually is. And so the way to really do that is to get good at dating. And the way to get good at dating is to actually enjoy it, or you're not going to hang in there long enough to get good at it. So here are my top 9 tips for making dating more fun so you don't want to kill yourself. Okay, so number 1, dial down the drama, dial down the stakes. Part of what makes women absolutely hate dating is it feels like too much pressure. It feels too important. It feels too significant, and everything that happens feels too important, right? So if you're internet dating and people are responding well to your profile or your photos, that feels too important, right? If men are writing to you, that feels too important. If men are calling you and taking it to the next level, if men are meeting you and actually buying your coffee, right? Not like sitting there already with theirs, a complaint I get a lot, but they're actually excited to buy yours, or even do better than coffee, take you to dinner. And the reason I say dial down the drama is that in my experience, highly sensitive women, soulfully sensitive women, everything's too important. And there's too much pressure on every little interaction and every little stage. And part of what creates the pressure is having the intention of finding the one, right? And having the intention that every date only be with the one, or thinking that the whole thing is a big waste of time, and thinking that if it's not the one, that it's wrong. And I instead invite you to decide that you're going to date as part of a rich, full life. And then you're going to date because, I hate to break it to you, you need to date to get your mate. Okay. And oftentimes, in my experience, sensitive people have a history of not dating and of just connecting really deeply with someone that they meet in some way and then skipping dating, right? And skipping the getting to know you process and going straight from, hey, who's that, to that's my serious boyfriend, right? Because when you're a sensitive person, you're really good at connecting, and you're really good at feeling into people's essence, and you're really good at being able to tell, is there something big here or not? And if there's the potential for something big, you can get way too connected way too quickly and go straight from, hi, what's your name again, to, oh my God, I'm in love with you, and now you're moving in. Okay, so I want you to take it more slowly, which is part of lowering the stakes, right? And, let this unfold each step of the way, and don't skip them, because that puts too much pressure on every little thing that occurs, right? And we just want to dial all of that down. And that also means, just like I said at the top of this, lower the drama of your language, right? And so be careful, if you like a guy, going home and saying, I just met my next husband. I just met, Mr. Forever. I just met my dream guy. No, you just met someone you enjoyed, who there's some possibility with. Okay. So that's the way to talk about it. Okay. Number 2, that one was like 3 tips, but anyway, really it was all dial down the drama, and lower the stakes, right? Number 2 is empower yourself. Empower yourself. That means do things that make you feel really good around dating, right? So when you have dates, or when you're emailing men online, or when you're talking on the phone, or when somebody's setting you up, do something to feel good. And before a date, I'm a huge fan of take a nice bath, exercise, watch that amazing TED Talk, if you haven't seen it, on power poses, right? Where you like stand. They've done all this research that if you stand in certain postures for a couple of minutes, it dramatically increases your confidence. And there's a communication that occurs between your body and your brain. And there are signals and reactions of neurochemicals and hormones that actually make you feel more powerful than you did before doing the poses. It's completely fantastic, right? And so you want to actually be intentional about feeling good and being powerful. And so I'm a big fan of, have a bite of your favorite chocolate, right? Wear your favorite fragrances. Before doing this video, I did that. I'm wearing, my favorite rose oil. And as you can see, I like fluffed up my hair for you all. Okay. I'd love to tell you I roll out of bed like this, but sadly, it takes a lot more work than that. But anyway, it makes me feel good, right? So you want to empower yourself, not because it's all about, because he's the one and I have to make him like me. Oh my God, no. But instead, because then you're going to feel good no matter what happens. You're going to show up your best. You're going to have more of a zip and a spring in your step. And then you're already winning, right? You're already ahead of the game. So empower yourself with foods, fragrances, your favorite music. My friend Ariel Ford is a huge fan of women masturbating before a date, so that you release all those endorphins and all that oxytocin, and then you're not hungry on the date, right? And if you're attracted, then you're not going to be like too overly attracted, because you will have already taken care of your own business, as they say. So empower yourself, feel great, go to the date with that twinkle in your eye and that spring in your step, whether he's the one for you or not. Okay, number 3, if you go on a date and you're not having a good time, or a guy isn't behaving well, or he's drinking too much, he's staring at the waitress's cleavage, or any number of things, I have a little news flash for you, which is that you can leave. You can actually leave. You don't have to stay. This person's a stranger if you're in, on a first date or early dates. They're a stranger for 9 months to 3 years. You don't fully know someone for a while. So before 9 months, they're like an acquaintance. Even if you're madly in love with them and you're practically living with them, they're still in many ways a stranger. And so if somebody is behaving poorly, or crossing your boundaries or making you uncomfortable, I'm a huge fan of excusing yourself, going to the restroom, and coming back and saying something's come up and you need to go. And if they're really behaving badly, like sneak out the back and text them later. Like if you feel perhaps like you might even be in danger, right? Or you might even be with a bad guy. Okay. And you can even tell people at the restaurant. You can even let the bartender know, or, have somebody escort you to your car. Just you can remove yourself. You're never stuck. You're never, and I say this especially to sensitive women, because soulfully sensitive women tend to be very sensitive to other people's feelings and very considerate as a result, and very empathetic. And there can be too much of a tendency to put other people first and to people please, right? And do not do that if somebody's making you uncomfortable. And if you've said, hey, it'd be really great if you could, quit joking about my, weight, or like, hey, my eyes are up here, or, if you've made gentle, appropriate requests that they alter their behavior and they've actually not altered it, or they've become maybe even, rude or cruel, like just get out. This is a revelation to some women, and it's always surprising to me, but yeah, you don't have to take any crap you don't want to, and please don't. Okay, next, number 4, before a date, commit to enjoying the process. Commit to having the intention that you're going to have a great night no matter what. And that means even if you don't like the restaurant or the event you attend, or even if the guy doesn't make as much of an effort as you wish he would. And even if you walk in and, like I said before, he's already bought his coffee and he's waiting for you to go buy your own, right? Like, just have the intention that you're going to make the most of it, and you are going to have a great day no matter what anyone else is doing. This actually works. It's really cool. And, just trust the process. Trust you're there for a reason. Maybe the reason isn't because that's the person for you. Maybe you're going to meet somebody else at that event or that restaurant that is the person for you, right? Maybe they know your person and they're going to set you up. One of my favorite recent stories is I met a darling woman who's getting married this year. And I said to her, oh, how did you meet your guy? Did you guys meet online? And she said, sort of. She said, I met another guy online and we really got along, but we could just tell we weren't a fit. We didn't have that click. We didn't have that vibe. And so, but we stayed in contact loosely by text, and we'd say hi once in a while. And out of the blue, he contacted me and he said, hey, this might seem strange, but I have a really good friend that I keep feeling like should meet you. Would you be up for meeting my friend Joe? And she said, sure. And what blew me away about that story is she didn't say, well, tell me about Joe. And why do you have that feeling? And, well, I don't know. I should talk to Joe. And she just right away was like, sure. And I loved that story so much because, of course, Joe is the guy she's marrying. And Joe is somebody she's been with now for years, happily. And I love this story so much because when she didn't feel that click or that magic with the first guy, she didn't shut the door on that guy. And that's the other thing I see soulfully sensitive women doing so much is if a guy's not their guy, or if a guy, doesn't behave exactly the way they want, they block him. One of the ways soulfully sensitive women feel safer and more comfortable is to feel more in control. There's a tendency to take on energy too easily and to be too affected by other people and too affected by your past and any issues from the past. And so a way to feel powerful, but that doesn't actually make you powerful, is to like take all these actions that say, I'm like in charge of my life, right? And one of the ways is to block people as soon as you get that they're not your guy. And I just want you to stay open and allow for as much possibility as possible. And so I absolutely love that story. I think it's just the cutest. Okay, so that's, again, commit to enjoying the process. And the other thing, the flip side of this that I see sensitive people doing a lot is they decide how things are going to go for positive and negative. They overly decide. So if you hit it off with a guy at a party or somebody's setting you up and you like him a lot on the phone or you like him a lot online, you decide, you start futurizing, right? You get like ahead of the action and you start deciding, oh my God, it's going to go amazing. And this is the person. And oh my God, finally, oh, right. And so then if it isn't, because you're already in this castle in the air, there's a tendency to crash too hard, right? And the flip side is also true. To protect yourself, you might decide, and again, this can be from past hurts, you might decide, oh, it's going to go really badly and he's not going to like me and I'm obviously too old for him or too fat for him, or my hair isn't flouncy enough, or right? And you start making things up, you start futurizing in a negative way. And so please don't pre-decide anything. People do this to me in my practice as an astrologer all the time. I make what I think is a positive prediction for them. I'll see like they're coming into a good love season, or I'll see that something's going to really improve, and they'll then turn that positive thing into the most negative thing, right? They'll say, oh my gosh, well, probably the guy's going to be really old, and then he'll probably be sick, and then I'll end up just taking care of him. And like they're 17 steps ahead, taking something I thought was good news and turning it into the worst news possible. Now, that's obviously an extreme example, but it happens all the time. People tell me how things are going to go, and they haven't even seen the beginning of the movie yet, right? They're telling me how the movie ends when they haven't even seen the start. So don't decide how something's going to go. Decide to be open to what is going to happen, and then respond to what's actually happening. Okay. Number 5, and this fits into what I just said, which is stick with the facts. Don't make up stories. Stick with the facts. If you go on a date and you have an amazing time, what does that mean? It means you went on a date and had an amazing time. That is absolutely all it means. Does it mean it's your person? You don't know yet. Does it mean you're going to end up with them? You don't know yet. Does it mean they're going to call you tomorrow, even if they said they would? You don't know yet. All you know is what has happened and how you feel. And it could be, because soulfully sensitive women tend to be very intuitive, it could be that usually your feelings are dead on and that your feeling is saying like, this is it, this is it, this is it. And you might be right, right? I am not knocking women's intuition. What I'm knocking is the crazy Greek chorus that we all have that lives up here that makes up stuff and freaks us out. Okay. So watch out for that. So stick with the facts. And if you find yourself getting a little like ahead of the action or making up stories, just gently bring yourself back to, here's the truth. He's a stranger. I don't know him. I had a great time. We'll see what happens next. So nice, right? So easy. Okay. Number 6, don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. Again, this is a stranger if you're just dating. Even if you've known them a while in a different capacity, maybe you've known them at work, Maybe you've known them through friends, but guess what? You've never known the dating version of them. I've had people that I've been friends with for forever who I thought was totally a certain way, and I've set them up with a girlfriend, and they then have behaved in ways I never knew they could. And I've been stunned by it. I've been like, wow, you think you know a guy, and then he's like a completely different person than I would have ever possibly expected. But guess what? I never knew that side of him. I never dated him. So that part of him was a stranger even to me. If I knew the guy 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and I'm not kidding. So be very mindful of that. Take nothing personally. If a guy seems like he had a great time with you, seems like he's totally into you, and then he ghosts you, guess what that means about you? Nothing. And the truth is, it could mean anything. It could mean he thought you were too beautiful. It could mean he could tell you were the real thing and he's not ready for the real thing. It could mean you remind him of an ex-girlfriend that crushed him. It could mean he doesn't feel good enough. It could mean, he's actually married. Like, it could mean anything, right? So all it means is he ghosted you. And sadly, that is a very common occurrence these days. It's become almost socially accepted, which is tragic and shocking and, a sad state of our civilization. But there you go. If you get ghosted, don't take it personally. If you get rejected, all it means is something else is going to happen. That's what that means. And again, number 7, everyone is a stranger. If you're dating, they are strangers, even if you already know them a different way. Okay. They're strangers. And so your dream, your vision of love, your hope, your plan for your life, the thing you're committed to creating with someone, that is so special and so sacred and so important. Don't let any stranger steal it from you. And one of the tragedies I see again and again and again with soulfully sensitive women is they let strangers steal their dreams. They let a guy they went out with twice or over a month or over 6 weeks or, once, or a guy they even never met. They just talked to on the phone and emailed with a few times. They let guys like that disappoint them to the extent where they say, you know what, this is too hard. Forget it. Screw it. Never mind. And they take their profiles down. They stop talking to strangers. They stop having people set them up. And they quit. And so you have to be more committed to your dream than your drama. Please, 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 please. Okay. And I promised you 9 steps. Number 8, I've already said, so I'm going to reiterate it because it's so hugely important. Take nothing personally. Take nothing personally. And really, that brings us all the way to number 9, which I've kind of said 85 different ways, but is like the cherry on top of what I hope is a helpful Sunday of soul, which is trust the process and enjoy all of it. Just enjoy all of it. Life is short. Life is fleeting. It's not all about the destination, right? All those trite things we've all heard. Make this about having a rich, full life. And make this about, I'm going to make the most of everything that happens, right? So everyone I meet, there's a reason I'm meeting them. They're going to teach me something about myself. I'm going to see something reflected back to me. I'm going to realize something I didn't know before, like something I need in a partner, something I really enjoy that wasn't on my list that I need to add to my perfect man list, right? Or I might make a friend. I might get a good stock tip, right? That all of it is for a reason. All of it is for a reason. So enjoy it all. This is your one fabulous, beautiful life as fabulous, beautiful you. And squeeze all the joy out of it you can. So this is the way to make dating fun. The other thing, of course, is to actually show that you're having fun, right? Because they want to have fun too, right? And so if you're in a good mood and if you're choosing to have a good time and if you're committed to that intent, even if you walk in the door and you go, oh man, not my guy, then get excited. Why else are you there? What else is going to happen, right? And if you're fun, odds are something fun's going to come of it and they're going to have fun with you. Next thing you know, maybe you've just made a new friend. Next thing you know, maybe you'll fall in love with his brother or his roommate or his neighbor down the street. And you just never know. You might get a text from that guy in a few months saying, I don't know why, but I got a friend that I feel like you should meet, right? So, and if not, just enjoy the gift of being alive because we're all so fortunate. And I think we've all seen that anything can happen at any time and tomorrow isn't promised. So not to end on a heavy note, because again, we want to lower the stakes and we want to be less dramatic. But my hope is that this was helpful to you. If you would like more tips about how to succeed in love and have all your romantic dreams come true as a soulfully sensitive woman, please check out the link below for my program, The Soulfully Sensitive Woman in Love, that I created in collaboration with Flourish, which is a fantastic portal of how to have an amazing life. And you found me through their YouTube channel. Yay! So you already know about Flourish and their fabulous, cadre of experts and topics. And in The Soulfully Sensitive Woman, I share so much more about how to support yourself on the journey of love, how to navigate very challenging things, how to do it in such a way that you don't burn out and you don't, harm your precious, beautiful, open heart and your, incredible capacity for love. And you actually end up with the man of your dreams and the life of your dreams and a lot of great stories. So please check it out and I'll make more videos and I hope to see you here again. And thank you for joining me.